I'd like to thank you again for coming here. I want to announce a couple of our presenting sponsors. ATI Physical Therapy, thank you very much. G&W Electric, actually G&W Electric is actually, their corporate ruling is that they cannot go outside their office. So we're actually supplying lunch to them at their office for them. They're watching it on bowlingbrook.com. And Olson Sturk, thank you very much for being the sponsor of the State of the Village. I'd also like to talk about, it's kind of cool, we met this company called Vue, V-U-E, Show Design. They're actually the ones that are doing this thing from the 3 locations as well as here. And what they're doing, it's really cool. They showed us, when we were there one time, they showed us, they had a band up in Canada, and they had a show in Nashville. So they were able to take the band from Canada, present it, and then show it to one of their clients in Nashville. It's a really cool thing. And they have a lot of other things. They're a new member of Chamber of Commerce, and they're actually helping us out a lot. And I appreciate you guys helping out. Thank you, Vue Design Show. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce the chairman of the board of the Bolingbrook Chamber. He's a guy who I use as a confidant. We've Neil, when I'm ready to cry or anything like that, and I call up Neil, and then Neil tells me quit crying. So Neil Smith from Robin Schwartz. Neil. You got your sheet? We're not allowed to shake hands, so thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, no crying. No crying. Well, welcome. It's great to see everybody here in person, and I'm happy to be here. And we welcome everybody who's at the remote locations as well. I'm going to introduce the Chamber Board of Directors, who I work with, and some of them are here, some of them are at other sites, and I'll let you know where they're at. First, the chair-elect, who will be the chair after me, Billy Hirth, Edward Jones Investments, and I think he's in one of our rooms over here in the golf club. Derek Zoe, Amita Health. Hey, Derek. Mike Wagner, Chick-fil-A Bolingbrook. Roxanne Conrad, 360 Painting. Joe Giamacco, Giamacco Law Partners. Cheryl Shoemake, Crash Champions. She's here in one of these rooms. Leslie Reed, The Shop Bolingbrook. Mark Hirschman, Cabinets for You. Robin McBroom, McBroom's Cleaning Service. She's at the club. Diane Nowasic, Rasmussen College. She's at Ashbury's. Tom Castagnoli, the Promenade Bolingbrook. He's at the Holiday Inn. Andy Burns, Best Buy. Diana Sorescu, Bolingbrook Bank and Trust. She's at the Holiday Inn. And Karen Metcalf, Eberhardt Accounting. She is over at Ashbury's. If you could give me a round of applause for the Chamber Board. So Mayor Mary Alexander Basta has a passion to serve the Bolingbrook community. Her service has been recognized by being named the 2018 Bolingbrook Female Citizen of the Year, and she was recently named one of the top 20 global women of excellence for 2021 at the 9th Congressional Women's Day Gala. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Mary Alexander Basta.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you very much. Is this on? Am I good? All right. Very good. Woo. Thank you, everyone, once again for being here. I'd also like to thank the Bolingbrook Golf Club, our host today, and to all the staff and the management of the Bolingbrook Golf Club. So thank you so much. We'd like to thank Ashbury at Boughton Ridge. Mike Lawler, Trustee Lawler is there. Trustee, are you there? Thank you, everyone, once again for being here. Little delay, just a little bit. Hey, Mike, how are you doing? Slight delay. Start your delay.
Everybody, got a great crowd here. We just finished our somersault competition after lunch. We got a three-way tie for 8 launches, so that's pretty good.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. Thank you, Mike. Next up, we have Trustee Michael Carpenzano at the Holiday Inn. Look at him.
All right, so here's the best part, is we're still watching Trustee Lawler here, and we are live here at the Holiday Inn Bolingbrook. Mayor Mary, we want to let you know this is the most exciting group. Thank you to the Chamber. Mayor Mary, have a great State of the Village, and this is the best group out here. Back to you.
Last but by no means least,
All right, so here's the best part, is we're still watching
Fire
Trustee
Marshal
Lawler here, and we are live here at the Holiday Inn Bolingbrook.
Rich Hilliard at the Levy Center with our wonderful and amazing seniors.
We want to let you know this is the most exciting group. Thank you to the Chamber. Mayor Mary, have a great
Okay,
State
it's
of
a
the
little
Village,
bit of
and this
IT. It's
is the best group out here. Back to you.
you didn't know you were here for a comedy. Lunch comedy and stuff.
All right, so here's the best part, is we're still watching Trustee Lawler here, and we are live here at the Holiday Inn Bolingbrook.
You see what we're trying to get to, right?
We want to let you know this is the most exciting group. Thank you to the Chamber. Mayor Mary, have a great State of the Village, and this is the best group out here. Back to you.
We're good. We're good? We're not good? We're great? I have to follow my cue, sir. Thank you. All right. I'd also like to thank our Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, as well as, once again, our elected officials. I believe Trustee Watts also has joined us in the other room. And I would be remiss if I did not welcome Mayor Emeritus Roger C. Clare to this event. Did you notice that when I said, did I forget anyone, he didn't raise his hand? That was on purpose. He thought he was going to get away with it, but he didn't know that it was going to be even more attention towards him. I'd like to thank our Arts Commission for the centerpieces that you have before you. They did their best to tie it into 2020. And our Bolingbrook Community Television that is not only here but also at our remote locations as well. And we have a new company that's moved to town. It's called The View. And The View is 2 young men who do some amazing things. They're also helping us in the back. They're located in the new WeatherTech building. So thank you so much for being here and supporting this event today. We appreciate you. Some traditions are meant to be kept, and one of them is this podium, brought to us by the Lions Club. And the Lions Club is a great organization here in town that helps the visually and hearing impaired, as well as serves the community in many, many other ways. So they offered to bring this and keep the tradition, and I thank them very much for doing so. I appreciate it. All right. On January 1st of 2020 was like any year. Like many others, I reflected on 2019 and made plans for the future. I made goals of how I would serve the community in 2020 as a resident, a member of the Public Safety and Public Services Committee, as well as a village trustee. While I believe things don't always go according to our own plans, nothing could have prepared me for what the year had in store. January started out with events that represent our community so well. Then Mayor and now Mayor Emeritus Roger C. Clare stood on this very stage last year in front of many more people and presented his 34th and final State of the Village. He's having too much fun today. Our Bolingbrook High School Raiders continued with sporting events and other extracurricular activities. Artistic events such as Theater on the Hill and the Bolingbrook Park District Dance Force concert brought entertainment to our community. As we moved into February, the Bolingbrook Black History Awareness Club hosted their 22nd annual program at the Bolingbrook High School. Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts continued to meet and hold ceremonies celebrating the accomplishments of our youth. The beginning of the year welcomed businesses to Bolingbrook. Ribbon cuttings were held for restaurants, dental offices, and many more. Our day-to-day life continued as we started hearing more and more about COVID-19 in the news affecting other countries. And then, all at once, it seemed to consume everything around us. The world, our country, events in Bolingbrook, and all of our lives came to a screeching halt. The calendar went from full to empty. For a moment, think back to your own experience. How did your life change? Did you start to work from home? Did you have to facilitate your children's remote learning? Did you participate in endless virtual happy hours? From the village standpoint, there were immediate changes that happened. Our first concern was the safety of our employees and our residents. Like many others around the world, the transition from coming to an office daily went to working from home was a large task. It was important to keep our employees safe while still serving the community and also being fiscally responsible. While our police, fire, and public works departments served the community as usual, village offices closed to the public. That business as usual from those departments needed to change. Storage spaces and remote locations around the village were transformed into impromptu workspaces. Departments were broken down into smaller units and distanced within our public works department. Personal protective gear and cleaning items were distributed among personnel. We invested in a fogging sanitation training for employees and purchased equipment to fog and sanitize village buildings. Town Center, the police department, all of our fire stations, public works building, and the community center were put on weekly rotating sanitation schedule. This saved the taxpayers thousands of dollars by us doing it in-house. We leaned heavily on technology to push communication and operation. The adaptation was seen in each one of our departments. As more news became available from a national and state level, village officials, Mayor Roger Clare, Ken Teppel, and Lucas Rickelman virtually relayed information to our residents. The combination of communication and technology was apparent as we all tried to navigate the immediate changes in March of 2020 and continuing over the course of the year. On Saturday, March 21st, 2020, the governor's first stay-at-home executive order took effect. On that very same day, Walgreens opened their first testing site in the country, right here in Bolingbrook. The site opened for 9 months and administered over 33,000 tests. I'm thankful to our public service department for never missing a beat. That in the midst of the uncertainty, our fire and police departments never missed a service call. They responded to over 7,178 calls throughout the year. As we sit here today, we are right around the 1-year mark of when everything started to get canceled and shut down. Wow, what a year. Schools were closed. You didn't have a hard time, did you, Dr. Abel? No. And children were set to start remote learning. Other community resources, such as the Bolingbrook Park District and the Fountaindale Library, had to shut their doors and stop their in-person programming. Both of them were scheduled to celebrate their 50th anniversary in 2020. Events that were staples of our community had to be canceled or postponed, including the 25th annual Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation dinner, as well as the Rotary Mac and Cheese dinner and multiple church dinners, Boy Scout recognition ceremonies, the T-Ball parade, and many more. The Bob Awards were also in jeopardy of being canceled, but instead, the Chamber pivoted, going to each individual business winner and presenting them with their awards. They made modifications. And others started doing the same. The story turned into, how are we going to adapt during the new and ever-changing normal? How could certain businesses realistically adapt to that new normal? Like many other communities, there was a direct impact on the village's retail businesses that support Bolingbrook. Small and large businesses alike had to adapt. Whether it was a restaurant or a retail store at the promenade, businesses had to close their doors in some capacity. Fortunately, Bolingbrook houses large headquarters, including WeatherTech, Ulta, and large stores like IKEA, Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, as well as some large grocery store chains, which helped us get through the pandemic. With a bit of creativity, effective communication, and the help of our community, I'm proud of how we came together to support smaller businesses and restaurants. In this age, social media communication was able to spread quickly to highlight our local businesses and restaurants. Eat in Bolingbrook, shop in Bolingbrook, both Facebook groups that are thousands strong. The Visit to Bolingbrook website, as well as the digital billboards throughout town, were used as resources to help promote our businesses and restaurants, as well as our hotels. Small Business Saturday was also used to promote and help those businesses, as well as Giving Tuesday was to help support our non-for-profits in town. The Bolingbrook Restaurant Grant Program was approved by the board in November, which allowed the use of CARES Act money to reimburse restaurants for the installation of UV lighting to their HVAC systems, making the air cleaner and safer for both employees and patrons, even after the COVID-19 restrictions were lifted. This took the story from how are we going to adapt to this new normal to how are we developing our community in light of COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. With all of these challenges businesses faced, we continue to maintain over 6 million square feet of commercial businesses, and our vacancy rate is only at 3.9 compared to some of our surrounding neighborhoods, which are upward to 22.3%. While there were businesses that closed in Bolingbrook, I'm proud of the resilience Bolingbrook showed. We didn't just scrape by, we thrived. There was still development in the midst of a pandemic. 14 restaurants opened their doors in 2020, including, but not limited to, Danny's Pizza and Burger Bar, Goat and Vine, Andy's Frozen Custard, second location, and Cafe Du Monde. Over the course of the year, we saw industrial development. Veterans Point Business Park was completed. The park consists of 4 buildings totaling over 1 million square feet. WeatherTech continues to expand. Recently, the construction of 3 new buildings totaling approximately 110,000 square feet at the southwest corner of Hassert Boulevard and Weber Road was completed. These buildings were designed for entrepreneurs and small business owners looking to expand their operations. Thank you. We also saw commercial development over the course of the year. Construction on our 10th hotel, the Fairfield Inn and Suites, was completed. Jet Bright Car Wash opened their second location in Bolingbrook, located at the southwest corner of Weber Road and Veterans Parkway. Overall, 147 new business licenses were issued in Bolingbrook, 40 of which were home-based businesses. Changes to how we do business and support restaurants were far from the only adaptations we made. Many personal and group celebrations look different in 2020. Parades were made and planned to celebrate birthdays or sending someone off to the military. Signs were placed in front lawns and outside of windows to express gratitude and celebratory wishes. Groups of people came together to thank first responders and healthcare workers for their tireless efforts in keeping our community safe. While many changes were made to long-standing traditions, our community also created new ways to come together. Organizations thought up of new ideas to bring support and cheer to the community. The Bolingbrook Arts Council partnered with the Promenade Bolingbrook and the Illinois American Water to bring the Paint a Fire Hydrant program to Bolingbrook. Residents used their creative skills to sew masks and build picnic tables for squirrels. Non-for-profits stepped up to serve the community in new ways. Still on the fire hydrant. A major celebration that had to adjust was each high school's graduation ceremony. Making the most of their resources, schools had virtual and drive-through ceremonies that celebrated each individual senior and their accomplishments. While it looked vastly different than years past, we were doing it. Bolingbrook was showing teamwork and care for one another. As we caught our breath after a couple of months of change, the wind seemed to get knocked out of us once more as we learned the news of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Like many communities around the country and across the globe, Bolingbrook felt the tension of civil unrest in our nation. As a community that proudly highlights its diversity, we knew teamwork was the best course of action. Our police worked to keep our village safe and unblemished from those that took advantage of protests in other communities to cause distraction. We initiated open communications with those who coordinated demonstrations to ensure their safety and freedom of speech. One example of this was the Black History Month Awareness Club's March on Bolingbrook. People from all walks of life joined together for one cause, and we made it clear that Bolingbrook is welcoming to all. Bolingbrook's diversity has always shined in our residents' businesses and cultural events. For years, events such as Fiesta Pinoy, Taste of Pakistan, Joy Fest, El Garrido, Day of the Immigrant, and most recently the Pride Picnic have taken place behind Village Hall to celebrate our diverse community. Unfortunately, the pandemic prevented those events from taking place last year. For the first time in over 50 years, the Pathways Parade was also canceled due to COVID-19. Other large events such as Relay for Life, Girl Scout Jamboree, and Boy Scouts Pathways to Eagle were also canceled. We looked into finding other ways of holding long-standing ceremonies. Both our Memorial Day as well as our Veterans Day celebrations were held virtually. As we continue to learn how to adapt and guidelines changed and decisions to move forward with the summer events were made, keeping events such as the summer concerts and the village picnic as well as the Jubilee scheduled was an effort to keep morale high in our community. The first summer concert were held simply on the stage, streamed live to our community. Eventually, with the help of our Public Works Department and Bolingbrook Community Television team, we were able to spray paint the hill to ensure social distancing to safely invite residents to enjoy the music. While the village picnic and the Jubilee took place, there were examples of events that held new requirements to ensure the safety of all. Social distancing practices were put into place. Two other events that marked summer were the Bolingbrook 4th of July fireworks right here at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, as well as the Taste of Bolingbrook put on by the Chamber. With what normally attracts thousands of guests, the 4th of July display pivoted to a drive-up event. families were still able to celebrate independence of our country in a safe way. The taste was shifted to a mini taste of Bolingbrook to not just support our local restaurants, but to also allow our residents something to enjoy outdoors during the summer. As families were able to move outdoors and find normalcy through the summer, yet another change came to Bolingbrook as Mayor Roger C. Clare announced his retirement after 34 years of developing and growing under the direction of Mayor Clare, Bolingbrook. He truly built this town and made it into what it is today. Thank you again. With large shoes to fill, the task of finding someone to take his place was not taken lightly. I am honored to have been voted into this position by the Board of Trustees. I'm grateful to have the time, the resources, and the support into this leadership position into a town that I love. Fortunately, this transition went smoothly. With the addition of 2 co-administrators and over 40 years of combined experience working for the village, Ken Teppel and Lucas Rickelman are a vital asset to our community. With this restructure, we also welcomed Police Chief Mike Rompa and Fire Chief Jeff LaJoy. I'm glad that each of these important public safety departments are under the direction of experienced leaders. 2020 also brought more personnel changes to the village as Carol Penning announced her retirement as village clerk after 31 years. Her guidance and knowledge have impacted so many. In December, Marty Barton was sworn in to complete the remaining term of village clerk. Also in December, we had the retirement of the one and only village attorney, Jim Bowen. "23 years. Can't tell you guys how much I miss Jim. I miss Roger too. I miss Jim more. Thank you for coming back for this event. I appreciate you. People are what makes Bolingbrook what it is, and that includes those that work inside the walls of Village Hall day in and day out. Whether it was a new hire, a shift in responsibilities, or a promotion, we work each and every day to ensure our village staff are all focused on one goal. That is consistently looking at making Bolingbrook a wonderful place to live, work, and play. I'm excited for what the future holds with this amazing team. And we'll bring them up a little bit later because they've had to put up with me for the past week. With all the changes taking place in 2020, our goal was also to bring village services into a new, modern era. This meant changing how we communicate and handle day-to-day business. One key example of this was when we launched the Citizen Request Management tool on our website. This allows for residents to submit a request online, and our Public Works team can manage that request digitally and see it through to completion. Since its launch in the fall of 2020, we've seen great success using this tool. Along with this technological advancement, OpenGov and CoStar were both programs that were introduced into our village, researched and started to be integrated. Multiple departments, including community development, see their value. Both of these programs allow us to pull up specific data, including, but not limited to, analytics, contact information, as well as property information. These systems also allow us to add additional village services without having to purchase any more software. Again, a saving to our residents, saving us time and money. Overall, the growth in the use of technology in our community development department alone has reduced the need for the storage significantly, therefore decreasing our waste as well as employee time and other risks associated with paper storage. And I would be remiss if I did not tell you that that's one of the reasons your flyers or your handouts are on this. It's not a mint. Don't swallow it. Yes, Bolingbrook, we are moving to the cloud. We are now able to do more efficient reporting, resulting in better and faster decision making. Community development is not the only department to implement the use of technology to advance our purposes. James Farrell, joining us in the back, our Chief Information Officer, and his team have worked with every other department to ensure that business and communication practices are constantly moving forward. Thank you, James. Our police department has implemented addition of several new technology initiatives that will assist with both internal as well as external affairs. Most recently, they've partnered with IT to host Brook Police Alerts, a digital communication system for our residents. Our communication has seen a drastic change as we are all able to live stream meetings, events, use online platforms to host the meetings, and send email blasts to those residents who subscribe on our website. My point in highlighting just a small percentage of our technological advances the village has seen over the course of 2020 is to reiterate that we continue to grow and develop, and we are not stopping. While we adopted programs, communications, and events in the short term due to COVID-19 restrictions, we don't just implement these because we had to. These advances will carry us beyond the pandemic. As I reviewed what 2020 held and what we did as a village, I'm confident that Bolingbrook is okay. Actually, we're better than okay. Technology is not the only thing that will last on the other side of this pandemic. A huge event that had to be canceled this past year was the Cavalcade of Planes. Clow Airport is a great asset to Bolingbrook. The 2019, the museum had over 6,000 visitors. However, in 2020, the facility had to take appropriate precautions, including temporary closure. The question then was, how are we going to bring people to the airport in a safe way? 2020 was the first haunted hangar, a socially distant, family-friendly event that was extremely successful. While it was originally an addition for families to feel normalcy amidst uncertain times, I'm sure it will become a tradition for many years to come. The haunted hangar for Halloween seemed to kick off a slew of traditions for the holiday. We were determined to end 2020 on a positive note that brought our community together. This emphasized the small town feel, Bolingbrook, that we all know and love, despite our large size. New traditions continued with tree lighting and winter walk behind town center, put on by the Civic and Cultural Affairs Committee, and many events hosted at the winter walk, including senior night, 2 drive-through Santa visits, shop with a cop, display of trees decorated by our non-for-profit organizations. During the winter walk kickoff ceremony, we recognized our 2020 Citizens of the Year. Family of the Year, Robin and Todd McBroom, who are here with us today, I think in one of the other rooms, as well as our Female Citizen of the Year, Miss Campbell, please rise. Thank you. And our Male Citizen of the Year, Chewy Cerna. In addition to that, we added the Festival of Lights International Holiday Decor display in front of Town Center, which highlighted our town's diversity. The Santa Send-Off, a parade in which Santa rode through the streets of Bolingbrook. It was a new tradition that was loved by both young and old. Oh, was that a ride. Through wind and rain and dropping temperatures, I personally don't think I defrosted until Valentine's, if then. Again, these events may have started as a way to bring normalcy in the midst of a pandemic, but have quickly wove themselves into the fabric that makes our community special. I look forward to continuing these events on the other side of the pandemic. And fortunately, there are some members of our community that didn't get to see these new traditions take place. I'd like to take a moment to honor some of those in our community that have passed. Please join me in remembering them. Thank you. Each one of these individuals devoted a part of themselves to this community, and I know each one of you do as well. Whether you are here, one of our satellite locations, or watching online, do the same. We are all part of the Bolingbrook family. So where does that leave us? I wanted to use this time to communicate the story of Bolingbrook over the course of 2020. I wanted to remind everyone of some of the events that took place and how Bolingbrook came together to overcome adversity. Bolingbrook's motto is a place to grow, and part of that story includes our growth. In 2020, we saw the village's population increase by approximately 150 residents. That brings our estimated total to 76,758. Under the direction of Matt Eastman, Head of Community Development, and Issam Chowdhury, who's also here with us today, we also saw the highest response rate for Bolingbrook during the 2020 census, 80.1%. The village saw 61 new housing starts, brings Bolingbrook's total number of residential units to 24,594. There were a few new road construction projects that were completed in 2020. Kings Road from Rodeo to Hassert is now 100% complete, and it's beautiful. The Rodeo roundabout construction is also complete. Northern Builders completed the south 2 lanes of Rodeo from Dalton to Kings this past fall, and 115th was named Clare Boulevard in honor of the man that emphasized that Bolingbrook is a place to grow. And Bolingbrook continues to grow. As far as construction goes, the contractor Jude Law completed the first stage of construction on the Weber Diverging Diamond in December. Construction was mostly on hold for the winter, with February 2022 set as the current completion date. A realistic goal is for IDOT to complete pavement by winter of 2021. After that construction is complete, the interchange will be navigated with ease. Be able to get on 55 again from Weber. There's already 5 restaurants that are set to open their doors in Bolingbrook in 2021. As far as current and future residential development goes, Americana Estate, located behind the Bolingbrook Golf Club, has seen an uptick in development over the past few years and sold over 10 lots in 2020. Less than 40 lots were available at the end of 2020. The village's first multi-million-dollar home is set to begin construction this spring. Liberty Green, an age-restricted community, has seen tremendous success since beginning construction in 2018. Currently, over 90 of their 155 homes are either occupied or under construction. Bluebell Ridge is moving along nicely, having begun their construction in 2018, located just south of Boughton Road and west Falcon Ridge Way. Hart's Construction has constructed 28 of the 79 units. This year, the Springs at Lily Cache Creek is set to break ground on a 320-unit high-end apartment community at the northwest corner of Lily Cache and Veterans Parkway. This plat of land was originally owned by Walmart and sat undeveloped for multiple years. We worked diligently to make sure this development would be a good fit for Bolingbrook. It's also important to note the village's financial standing when we look at 2020. In August, the village refinanced its general obligation bond to save the village money. With this refinance, there is a net future levy savings of $15 million. $15 million. And the term of the bond was not extended. In conjunction with the refinancing, Standard & Poor's reviewed the village's finances and maintained its assigned AA rating with a stable outlook. All in all, village debt has been significantly reduced in the past 2 years. And this AA rating reflects the village's strong economy, management, budgetary performances, budget flexibility, and liquidity. Recognizing that 2020 was a difficult year for many, the board voted a rate reduction in the levy. That means that the Bolingbrook residents see a decrease in the rate on the village portion of the property taxes. While that is good news for 2020, we will continue to make these fiscal responsible decisions in the year of 2021 and beyond. Outside of the financial data, there were other deadlines that took place in 2020. The fire department union contract expired in April, and after 6 months of negotiations, I'm glad to say the fire contract was settled in October. In November, the Board of Trustees approved a solid waste ad hoc committee. This committee is reviewing, we're talking about this at the State of the Village, the current waste hauling contract ending in spring of 2022, and developing a set of specifications and documents with the intent to request proposals for a new garbage contract. With representatives from all over Bolingbrook, the committee has been meeting regularly to resolve any issues and ensure Bolingbrook's refuse collection will be beneficial to residents. In an effort to continually move forward, we are currently in the process of a recodification project under the direction of the clerk's office. Any and all legal systems and operations in the municipal code are being looked at and verified that they are up to date. This program began in April of 2019 and is an enormous undertaking in which progress is being made daily. While I've spoken previously to some of the technological advancement the village has made in 2020, there are still more projects on the horizon. Launching just last month was an online permitting system that gives residents and contractors alike the opportunity to do business with the village digitally. This is just one example of our efforts and my dedication to keeping our operations on the forefront of technological advancements. The ideas will never end. Each day, new ideas are formed, new businesses develop, and new technology emerges. Bolingbrook welcomes this growth. I'm pleased to announce that Hyzon, the biggest hydrogen fuel cell factory in the U.S., is coming to Bolingbrook this year. This new technology and growth will put Bolingbrook on the map as a driving force in alternative fuel technology. They'll be starting with 28,000 square foot facility with plans to expand to up to 80,000 and in upwards of 100 high-skilled jobs right here in Bolingbrook. The addition of this multi-billion-dollar company could be the catalyst for even more technological and economic development. Throughout our history, we've made it clear that Bolingbrook welcomes emerging technology and ideas. This is apparent in the 31 corporate headquarters that have already chosen Bolingbrook as their home. While no one knows exactly what the future holds, I believe it holds hope. It holds possibility. It holds new businesses, organizations, and residential development in Bolingbrook. Where there is ever a gap in our community, the future holds the answer to filling that gap. It's now up to us to take advantage of these opportunities and make the choices that will continue to grow Bolingbrook in a positive direction. While 2020 brought worlds of change, one thing that will never change is that Bolingbrook is home. We have hope for the future of 2021. Here's to a bigger, better, and more beautiful Bolingbrook. One way I believe we can work to create a bigger, better, and more beautiful Bolingbrook is by investing in our youth. They are the future. The experiences, the knowledge, opportunities we give them will greatly impact our community. And there are organizations in town that do just that. We're at a good time of the year right now as youth sports programs are opening registration. Get your kids signed up. They need to get off the computers. In keeping with this event's tradition of giving back to the community, I'd like to present monetary donations to a few of our local organizations. Thank you all for attending today, as a portion of your being here allows us to support these non-for-profits. With that, I'd like to recognize the following organizations, each of which will be receiving $500. And I'd like to invite Chamber Director Kevin O'Keefe to join me. First award goes to Bolingbrook Trojans,
Campfire, Illinois Prairie,
Bolingbrook T-Ball,
Hardhaven Outreach,
Bolingbrook Panthers,
Brooktown Force,
Bolingbrook Soccer Club,
the Junior Stars Club and Sorority,
Bolingbrook Community Basketball,
Bolingbrook Premier Cricket League.
I'd like to thank them all. I know we have several representatives here from each of those, and they did not know that they were being awarded these funds, so thank you for volunteering and helping our youth. Before we close, and I don't want to take up any more of your time, and really want to have some of that cake, but anyway. I'd like to invite our staff that is here, our team, to please come up and be recognized. Especially these two young ladies that are sitting over here that actually had to deal with me for the past 2 weeks, Barb Knuff and Joy Basil. Thank you so much. We also have in the room with us today Chief Rampa and Chief LaJoy. Thank you for keeping us safe. We appreciate you. Obviously, we have co-administrator Ken Teppel. Nobody wants to come up. I don't know what's up. I showered, I promise. And co-administrator Lucas Rickelman, thank you so much. CIO James Farrell, Dave Tomsky with BCT, the entire crew on the camera, Bert Odelson, thank you so much. Taking my calls, sometimes not, but it's okay. Who have I forgot? Any other staff here today? Or here in this room? Okay. Thank you again, very, very much. I know this was far from the normal Roger C. Clare State of the Village. That's okay. That's what difference is about, right? Doing different, right? You want it? Is that okay, Ms. Campbell? I am you. I am me. That's right. I'm me. Thank you again so much. Please enjoy the day. Stay safe, and we'll see you next year.
Wasn't sure if our satellites were on.